Again, thank you for joining today. This class is all about manifesting abundance, and I'll be sharing with you some of my insights in regards to what I've done. And I always think back, even as a little girl, and I've got a lot of red energy, and I've always been good at manifesting things in my life. It seems like whatever I put out, I get it. And I always had goals when I was young, and achieving those goals, of course, is awesome because it just takes you that much closer to what you want in life and all that good stuff. So what we're going to do first is talk about what manifesting and abundance means. And I'm a bit of a word person, so I always like to look in the dictionary and just play with the word, because words have power. And we're going to be talking about affirmations and other things that will help clear the road to helping you create abundance. So manifest is clear or obvious to the eye or mind. And that is really important when we're talking about manifesting, because if you don't have that clarity, then the signals that you're sending out to the universe, you may not receive what you want because of the mixed signals. And I always think about what we do here at Color Energy to begin with. We try to keep the frequencies clear in the products that we develop, because otherwise we lose the power in it. And it's the same thing, when we're wanting to manifest. And I think about many years ago, I was doing my biopulsar readings, and I had all these people where I was looking at their aura, and it was right after the movie and the book was released called The Secret. And I had all these people that were super gung-ho about, that they were going to manifest their heart's desire. And when I started having a conversation with them, I could see that what they wanted to manifest wasn't resonating in their aura. And that's really important to know, because sometimes we're oblivious as to the signals that we're sending out. So I'm going to help you refine those signals today, because the clearer you are with what it is that you want, then the, going back to the manifestation, it is obvious. And so therefore the universe is going to pick up those signals and be at your beck and call to help you create that. Also, manifesting is to show a quality or a feeling by one's act or appearance. So again, if you're not playing the part, if you're not doing the things that are going to, attract what it is that you want, it's sort of like people who are confident, their back is erect, and they show that confidence in their even body posture. When people lack confidence, their shoulders hunch forward and they look down. So again, we have to act that part. We have to exude the energy of what it is that we want, whether it's in the colors that we wear, or again, with our attitude or affirmations, or the things that we do to put that motion into that action. Now, abundance is the state or condition of having copious amounts of something. So here we're talking about abundance. What is it that you want in your life that's going to be abundant? That's really important, that you have that clear picture. Abundance also means plentiful of good things in life, prosperity. And again, that's what this whole seminar is about, is the prosperity. And also the quantity or amount of something present in a particular area. So as you start to formulate, and I hope you all have your, pen handy or pencil handy and your notepad, because I'm going to be giving you lots of information where you'll be able to, hopefully pick up on tidbits, and you want to keep those notes. So we often talk about abundance as something we need to achieve. And also we talk about it, that it's not part of our life now. Everything is at our disposal, and we have all this energy within ourselves to attract whatever we want. But again, if we're not resonating the right signals, then we're not attracting what it is that we want. And that could be anything in our life, such as health, relationships, financial security. Literally, you can attract anything you want, but what you've got to do is you've got to go after each challenge individually. And I say that because one of the things that I've learned, I've analyzed hundreds and, actually thousands of people when they've done our color test or our color course. And I can see that when people are going after something they want in life, they again mix the signals. They put all these different things into what it is that they want that actually have nothing to do with it. For example, if you say, I want good health, I want to eat better, I want to have more financial security, well, those are three different challenges that you've got to manifest, not one, it's three. And sometimes that's where the confusion is that you're trying to do too much at one time, that you're sending out those mixed signals. Now, the universe wants you to be prosperous. They will support you. You know, God wants you to have a good life. He doesn't want you to suffer. But a lot of times we look at suffering as, you know, and I don't want to necessarily say our destiny, but we look at suffering as something that, you know, we have to go through. If you're smart, you'll look at something that's in your life as a negative and right away turn it into a positive. Every lesson that we learn from is here for us to raise our energy and become a better and stronger person. So we have to look at challenges as something that is positive, not negative. Challenges are things in our life that are to help us identify where we're weak. And then from that, we look at that dark side and we turn it into light. And you've got to look at what blocks you in your road to success. And sometimes it's a consciousness and sometimes it's an unconsciousness. So we're going to be talking about how to make things that that you want in life, both connecting on that conscious and unconscious level. Now, you may not realize it, but all these things that have happened in your life are there again for your learning. The people in your life, from your parents to your siblings, to your teachers, to your friends, to strangers that you might meet, circumstances that happen in your life, these are all there to teach you lessons. And I always giggle when somebody says, you know, I don't want to be like my mother or father. Well, you don't have to be. That is a choice. That is free will. And, you know, to identify what you don't like in somebody in your life gives you the power to make the changes in regards to what you don't like. But sometimes we negate an energy, we ignore an energy because the person that maybe caused us some heartache in our life or problems in our life used a certain vibration on the negative side. So then we attach that unconscious program to the negativity that they expressed. Now, I'll give an example. For example, nobody likes a bully and nobody wants to be a bully. I think that sometimes, you know, when people are aggressive or a bully in their life, it's a way of self-sabotaging. And you know, again, we're limited in time, so we can't go into too much psychoanalysis, but nonetheless, I have found that a lot of people disconnect from their red root chakra because they were bullied or somebody in their life was a bully and they don't like that energy. So they're attaching the fact that the negative red is what they don't want. But instead, what happens, they avoid the positive red. And the positive red, there's a very fine line between, you know, anger and aggression and passion. And for example, when you're passionate about something, it's like, oh, I'm so excited. But when you're mad about something, oh, I'm so angry about that. You know, the feeling that is in your body is very similar, but one you're using in a positive light and the other on the dark side. And that's what I mean, that we have to understand that when there's something we don't like, when we colorize it and can attach it to the chakra, the energy center that it belongs to, then we can understand why we may have blockages in that center because we didn't understand the positive side. And for some of you here, I know you've joined my classes, and so you know I talk about that, you know, when you're on the dark side of that color frequency, then you're exhibiting the attributes that are not conducive to your energy and not conducive to any situation. But when you're in that positiveness, then your light shines brightly and you attract, you know, people who are excited as you, for example, and as positive and practical and all these beautiful attributes of the red versus that negativity of the red, that is that aggression, anger. Even today, there was a situation that happened in my office. I reacted to somebody else's negativity, and I got a little bit excited and not on a positive level. I kind of snapped back, and I realized afterwards that because they were exuding that energy, of course, I reacted to it. And when you have a consciousness, you can stop yourself, hopefully in due time rather than afterwards, and try to fix the situation so you're not reactive to their negativity. And again, that's why sometimes people will react to our negativity, because we're putting out that energy and they're only reacting to it because what we're doing is we're sending the signals that are of that lower vibration, that we're attracting those signals back to us of the similar frequency. However, if people are clever, they won't mirror image that. And that's what we want to get into, is understanding that we don't want to be that mirror image of other people's negativity. Rather, we have to shine our own light, so we're raising other people to match our vibration. And it's our lack of confidence in any area that starts to create these energy influxes in ourself. So the more we understand the attachment, and because I'm very much about vibrational energy medicine, again, we have to understand that we're vibrating frequencies. Our thoughts are vibrating frequencies. We have different, regions in our brain that can actually vibrate different frequencies. All our organs vibrate to their own tune. But when one of our organs is out of balance because of an emotional trauma, then that's what we're exuding. And, again, science has already proven that every organ in our body is tuned into our life experiences. So if we have an emotion that is negative, that can be stored in one of our organs that relates to that situation. And this is why we end up, becoming, ill or sick in an area, because we've neglected that emotion, that emotional connection to that organ. And so that organ has manifested into some difficulties. And our intelligence is defined by color. Every color denotes attributes in our personality, which again is reflective of the emotions, the thoughts, the beliefs. Everything in our life is a color frequency. And this is why when even somebody talks, I can pick up on what color vibe they're giving just by the words that they say. So here's an example. If I say I'm strong, I'm saying I am red. If I'm saying I'm sad today, I'm saying I am orange. If I'm saying, oh, you touched my heart, I'm saying I'm connected to my green. So every feeling that we have, every thought that we have, is a signal that is being sent out, whether it's from our mind or our body. And this is why people feel us, when we're in a certain mood and our frequencies are resonating on that one level. And when we lack energy in an energy center, again, that's a lesson for us to learn. But often we're oblivious to how our energy is running. And this is, part of what we need to do is tap into that. Now, of course, with the biopulsar reflexograph, it's made very easy for us because we can see the map of our aura and we can see what's not integrated. So for those of you who don't have a biopulsar, seek me out after this class and I'll try to find you somebody in your community that has the biopulsar that you can get a reading from. But we all have strengths and we all have life learning lessons. Our strengths are what's innate to us. We don't have to think about it. It's unconscious. It's just something that we tap into. It's kind of like when you're learning to tie a shoelace, for example. When you're learning to tie a shoelace, often somebody is teaching you how to do it and they're demonstrating it for you. Then it's your chance. You're trying to mimic what they showed you. And sometimes we stumble and fall, but the more somebody shows us something or the more we practice, then we get better at it. And eventually, the beautiful thing about unconsciousness, once we get it embedded into the unconsciousness, then we can tie that shoelace without any thought. And this is why our weaknesses are innate. They're natural to us. Nobody had to teach us that. However, there's life learning lessons that maybe somebody wasn't able to teach us And so therefore, we've got to go back to the beginning and use examples that we can adopt to learn how to be better at it. And this is why when it comes to abundance, we have to think about things such as, what is our relationship to what it is that we want to manifest? Was there something that we learned that wasn't conducive to that? Was there something that that we're not understanding of the manifestation process to acquire what it is that we want? So there is a bit of, searching that you have to do to really tap into what's blocking you from achieving that manifestation. Okay. But again, we have these weaknesses because I believe God wants us to integrate all sides of ourself, and we can only do that when we have these challenges. But the more we tap into what's a repeating occurrence in our life, then we can understand, okay, this is a blockage for us manifesting what it is that we want in life. And it doesn't matter what it is. And in fact, what you can do is, start making that list of the things that you want. And it could be short-term goals or it could be long-term goals. Sometimes it's nice to go after the short-term ones because then you can see the results right away. Where for the long-term ones, be prepared for the fight. And we're going to be talking a little bit about red energy because, again, if you don't have enough red energy, often you'll give up before you can even manifest. And just so you know, statistically, 60% of people try something once and then give up. Wow. That's insane, but it's a reality. And, again, you may have many thoughts as to what it is that you want to accomplish. So that could be part of that 60% that you don't acquire because you give up right away because it's not a priority. It's not important to you. However, statistically, 30% of people will attempt something twice before giving up. So now you can understand on a statistical level, you may try something once or twice and then give up. Then it goes into 6% of people will try something 3 times and then give up. Okay, so now we're at, 96%. Now, did I say that right? 6% of people will try something 3 times or more before giving up. Now, when we go to the next level, 3% of people will try something 4 times or more before giving up. Okay, now we're at 99%. And we're talking about giving up, not even acquiring it. We're left with what? 1%. 1% is literally 5 times or more that you have to try before you're going to get to where you want to go. Okay, so think about that. That means you've got to keep trying it. Again, it's like tying that shoelace. The first time you try tying that shoelace, you may not have done it very well. It could have been loose, or maybe you didn't get it. The person may have had to show you again. So usually you have to keep trying, trying again and again and again till you get more confident in what it is that you want to do. But again, 1% of people will try to do something more than 5 times before giving up. And if you've read any books about manifestation, you'll have heard that the author will have said that it took me several tries before I got what it is that I want. I had to pound on, 100 doors to get that one, deal. Whatever it is, you've got to be prepared for the fight, which means you have to understand that's all about your root chakra's existence, because the only color that is your drive and determination, and that will never give up, because the red fights to the death. Okay, and I'm being a little bit dramatic, but it's to hit it home so you understand what it is that I'm talking about. If you really want something, you've got to be prepared for the battle. But often, as soon as people have a little confrontation in their fight, in what they want it to manifest, they right away shy away. And it's because maybe if you're a green person and you're all heart-based, and all of a sudden somebody says, no, you can't do that, then right away your heart is going, oh, you know what, I love this person so much, I don't want to cause conflict, so I'm going to stop. Rather than saying, you know what, this is really important to me, I want to manifest this. So you know what, I don't care if you say no, I'm still going to do it. If I listened to everybody that said no to me, do you think I would be where I am today? Absolutely not. And, you know, I can even share with you another story. I wanted to open up a store and I had no money, nothing. I had no money, but I had a desire to open up a store. So I actually went to one of my friends that, you know, was quite financially well off at the time. And I said, hey, do you want to go into this business with me? And she said, no, Suze, this is your thing. I'm not interested. And I went, okay, I respect that. Well, then I went to my mom because sometimes moms are great. And I said, Mom, if I asked to borrow money today, how much could you give me like in 24 hours? And my mom said, well, I could give you $2,000. And I went, done, you know? And I opened up a store with $2,000. Now I spent every cent getting my store up and running. And again, it's because I had that drive and determination. I had people saying no. And in fact, when I opened up my store, I had a lot of the locals going, oh, you're a new business in town. Oh, you won't succeed. And I asked them, why? Oh, the locals won't support you. They don't support anybody. You know, we've seen so many businesses in your location come and go. And I went, well, thanks for that tidbit. I really appreciate your honesty. And I went, okay, so now I have to go after the local business. How am I going to do that? So I put plans of action into play. And guess what? I was profitable in my second year. My first year, I actually had no problem surviving. Every month went by, I always had the money to pay for my rent and all my bills. Now, I'm going to tell you, I did some things that you know, afforded me to you know, continue on that journey. But my point is, I never gave up, and I always found ways to succeed. But as soon as we often hit that roadblock, what happens is we give up because it's too hard, it's too difficult, it becomes too challenging. But again, guess what? This is life. God wants you to succeed, but he's not going to make it super easy for you. He wants you to grow from the experience. So we have to learn from everything that comes up as a challenge in our life and not, you know, take no for an answer. And in fact, much of our programming happens in our formative years. And I want to open this up to a little bit of dialogue because I want to get your input. But often how people treat us, what people have said to us, and other life experiences become part of the mold of who we are. It is part of what either restricts us or it allows us to expand. And it's a choice of how we want to take that information. But these challenges become imprints for how we judge ourselves, how we judge others, and it is a stepping stone for our decision-making process. And statements can be empowering or they can be disempowering. Again, it's your choice, because if somebody says something to you that isn't lifting you up, then what you've got to do is, in a way, make, you know, lemonade out of lemons. Again, this is your choice. This is what defines you, is how you actually manifest. You know, are you going to allow confrontations or situations to deplete you or raise you above? Now, when it comes to energy, we're 100% whole within our auric field. Our physical body is matter, but how we use our energy is different. If we want to put a lot of energy into our crown chakra and be that visionary, then it's going to take away from somewhere else, which could be in our root chakra, which is that manifestation. We can have all these ideas, all this creativity, but what do we do with it? So we have to create balance in our life to achieve that. So again, if we're resonating the wrong frequency, we're going to receive back the experiences that match that frequency. That's how simple it is. Okay, now let's review some common statements that are being said that can influence you. And it may have influenced you at a young age. And again, I want you to just sort of feel what this statement means. So for example, way to go. Is that empowering or disempowering?
Empowering.
Yes. Okay. What about you could do better?
Disempowering.
Disempowering.
It is disempowering because, again, saying you could do better, that's indicating you didn't do good enough. What about that was great?
Empowering.
Empowering.
Absolutely. You're such a loser.
Disempowering.
Exactly.
Disempowering.
I believe in you.
Empowering.
You'll never amount to anything.
Disempowering.
And this is unfortunate because sometimes people say things that they don't really mean, but again, we often self-sabotage. And, you know, I think about the fact, going back to even the statement that sometimes I hear people saying, I don't want to be like my mother, or I don't want to be like my father. Well, you know, again, if you understand that you don't want to be like somebody else that you've met in your life, then you have to change that mentality and, you know, take whatever they've said and turn it around to be a positive factor in your life. Okay. So what about, you can do anything you put your mind to? Is that empowering or disempowering? Absolutely. Or you can't do that. Now, how many people here have heard that before? Exactly. This is a common thing that people say, you can't do that. And they don't mean it ill will, you know, sometimes they may, but they don't typically mean it as something that, you know, is a big thing. You can't do that. How can you do that? You don't have training in that. You're not educated to do that. People make up excuses as to why they can't do that. And, you know, again, you don't have to be super, super smart to do anything. You just have to have that drive and determination. Yes, Deborah.
Saying something like, oh, you did really great on that, but that's
Yes. But is an evil word. You know, and especially when somebody says something to you and you go, but what you've literally done is everything that they said before that word, you've just voided. So but isn't a proactive word. You know, you're better off saying, well, rather than, you know, or other things, because this is how I feel, and put the onus on, you know, how you're feeling, because sometimes when we say that but word, it's because of our own, you know, our own relationship to that situation. Okay. Now, what about this? You deserve everything you desire. Yeah, isn't that great? What about you'll never get what you want? And that again is something common that people have heard in their life. You'll never get what you want. You're not educated enough. Again, all these excuses as to why you can't succeed. Okay. These are some of the things that you may have heard or even said to yourself. But why do we sell ourselves short? Right? We have to uplift ourselves. And again, when we talk about the red root chakra, just so you know, it's about your inner confidence and strength. Your confidence does not come from the outside world. It's from you. Even if people say to you, you can do it, if you don't believe it, then it's not going to happen. You've got to co-create that. You've got to create that within yourself, that you can be confident to do whatever you want. And that again comes from the red energy. Now, when you're self-confident, that is the solar plexus energy, because it's self-confidence. Inner confidence is you feel it in your bones. If you talk to a red person and you say, what do you think about that? They'll feel it in their bones. Okay. It's that deep within them. But because we often avoid our red, we don't feel it on that level. We'll feel it through our feeling sensitivities, or we'll feel it through our mind, which isn't the same as feeling it on that deep level. Okay. So we have to realize that all these beliefs that are implanted in us were often when we were too young to understand. But hopefully, as you've matured, you now can discern what's right and wrong. What is conducive to you? Let it sink in. What does it feel like to you? If it doesn't feel good, then obviously it's not conducive to your energy. But if it feels right, then again, use that feeling to drive you, because it's that passion that will drive you. Your determination will drive you to the end to get what it is that you want. And all colors actually have part of that process, from the violet energy being that vision, to the indigo understanding it on such a deep intuitive level, to the blue energy of planning and organizing that vision, to the green energy making sure it feels right, to the yellow starting to, you know, process and deduce what it is that needs to be done, from the orange to create that enthusiasm, to the red driving force. All your chakras are part of that process. But the last energy to really just plop it out there is the red. Red is the color of manifestation. Okay. So how can we change any limiting beliefs? First, we have to acknowledge that we have freedom of choice. So when people come to me for a consultation, I always ask, are you ready to change? Okay, because it's a freedom of choice. I had a woman fairly recently, over a year ago, that was on death's door. And I said to her, do you want to live or do you want to die? Because in your aura, I see you're already halfway there. You're already halfway to the other side. Do you want to live? Do you want to be here? Because even when it comes to life and death situations, we do have choices as to how fast we want to go. Now, of course, there can be some things that might be really difficult and challenging and, in some ways are out of our control, because once illness manifests to a level, it's really hard to reverse. But again, with drive and determination, we can turn it around. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in a few minutes. But all her action was that she had given up on life. And this is what I see when I look at people's auras. I see holes, I see gray, I see toxicity. This tells me that they're not taking care of the basic essentials in life. And this is often, part of that manifestation of illness, when we're manifesting more on the negative side than the positive side. So we end up becoming sick. And I know we've all done that, where we've manifested colds and flus and, tiredness and other things through our actions. So this is important to understand. It's all about a choice. Do you want to put your drive and determination to reversing, maybe your health situation? Do you want to put your drive and determination towards being more successful in life? Do you want to put your drive and determination into healthy relationships? Again, it's your choice. And we all have a choice. And remember, the definition of insanity, I know I've said this before in some other of my videos, is the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Okay, we have to start creating changes. And that's the hardest thing to do, is create change when we've created a bad habit. And that bad habit can be anything. And so my challenge to you is, take what it is that you want to manifest, and I want you to challenge yourself to do it, to manifest it. That is my challenge to you, because once you make that choice that you want to manifest, then, sky's the limit, but you got to work at it. And when it comes to illness, you may have created that illness over, 10, 20, 30 years. It's ludicrous to think that you can turn around, a problem that you've had for decades just in the matter of days. Sometimes it can take weeks. And they say that for every month that you've been, every year that you've been sick, it takes 1 month to reverse that. Now, if you apply yourself in a way that you're doing everything right, then you can cut that manifestation process down considerably. But people tend to cheat along the way, and it's okay. I tell everyone, don't worry about it. If you fall off the bandwagon with what it is that you want to do, just pick yourself up and continue on. And, again, I'm no different than you. I set myself up for, challenges and for manifesting, and I fall off the bandwagon. But you know what? I don't take it personally. I just take it as, this is human nature to do. And again, as you get more into the color language and you learn, what your predominant colors are and what your weaker colors are, whether through taking our color psychology test or whether you've had a biopulsar reading, this is information into understanding your strengths and your weaknesses. Now you can guess at it, and a lot of times it's an educated guess. Like, I know I'm a yellow person because I love to learn. I love to share knowledge. A lot of my characteristics are of that yellow energy. Like, I'm a very positive person, but I'm very dedicated to my work, and and all these traits that represent that yellow person, that's part of me. So for me to manifest on a yellow level, it's super easy. But I need my red to take all these brilliant ideas that I have and actually create them in this life. So once we know what we want and what's good for us, then we can start by understanding any disempowering statements that have come up in our life that we bought into. Okay. And again, often when we're young, we often believe people who are older than us, right? We tend to believe our parents, we tend to believe our teachers because we think they're smarter than us. But guess what? They're human too. So parents make mistakes, teachers make mistakes. However, the hardest thing is to own up to your mistakes. So sometimes you keep making the same one because it's easier, right? Sort of like you go shopping and you know you shouldn't buy that bag of chips because it's junk food and junk is not conducive to your energy, but you know what? You'll buy it anyways, you know, and how often you do it is literally gonna eventually have, you know, problems in your energy if you're constantly eating junk food, right? So again, it's okay to, you know, cheat a little along the way by, you know, maybe getting segued in some way. I'm not going to punish you for that because again, I'm not attached to your ability to manifest abundantly. Okay, that's your job. Now, you have to address though anything around what it is that you want. So for example, let's take some scenarios. You want more financial success in your life. What are some of your beliefs that you buy into? Okay. And again, I'm going to open this up that you guys can give a shout out in regards to anything you've heard, such as you have to work hard for your money. Who's heard that? Yeah, lots of us. Now, again, if you bought into that, then you may be a very hard worker because of the fact you bought into the fact that you have to work hard for your money. And this is a belief that I actually believed in. And now I say, I don't have to work hard for my money. Money just grows on trees. You know, money just comes to me freely because I'm open to the give and the receiving of money. I believe that money is just an energy exchange. I give you money, I'll take money back in. I give you money, I'll take money back in. It's just about that giving and receiving. I don't have that attachment to money. I don't believe I have to work hard for my money. Okay. You'll only make money if you have a degree, like you know, an education. Again, something that I know a few of you have heard. Now, anybody else have any attachments to money? Carolyn. Oh, you'll have to unmute yourself to be heard.
Yes.
Okay, Carolyn, please share.
Well, I consider myself having an attachment to money simply because I enjoy bringing it in so that I can give it out.
Beautiful.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And that is a very powerful statement because again, we use money as a method of paying for services and receiving services. So, and again, this is my own example that if I earn money, then I can hire somebody else for their services, right? It's just an energy exchange. So that is a healthy relationship to money. So does anybody else have any empowering or disempowering attachments to money that they've heard or experienced?
Yes, Susan?
Yes? Pauline.
Yeah, okay. I'll just, because someone else was there. Growing up, especially in the Catholic Church, I was taught that money was the root of all evil.
Yeah.
And how I turned it around was that poverty was the root of all evil.
Beautiful. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Robert.
Yes, my attachment to money was like a paycheck mentality that I'd have to work, you know, like you said previously, work hard for your money. But now I realize that the universe can bring all sorts of unexpected income if you're just open and receptive to it.
Absolutely. And a couple things to look at. If you tend to have a personality that says, oh, no, it's okay, you don't have to help me. No, it's okay, don't go out of your way. What happens is sometimes you start putting that no out. You're saying, no, don't give me anything because either one, you want to have the control of doing it yourself, or two, you don't want to burden somebody else. But again, that actually is to do with the giving and receiving of love, because I know when I give to somebody, when I help them, I feel awesome. I feel like, my goodness, I've helped someone because I love them, right? But if somebody comes to you and says, hey, I want to help you, and you're going, oh, no, thanks, then what you're doing is putting out to the universe, don't give me love, don't give me money, because I'm just going to say no to it. You know, like when you find a penny on the ground, pick it up. It's the universe trying to give you some, even if it's a cent. I mean, you know, a penny for your thoughts. Think of it that way. Make fun of it.
Suzanne,
Yes.
may I tell you something? A
Sure.
little story. Many, many years ago, I met this lady in the fabric store, and she was having trouble getting all of her purchases into her car. So I stopped and helped her. And
Right.
she said, she looked at me and she said, thank you so much for the help. She said, I'd like to give you this. And I said, I looked at it and it was something that I really could use in my sewing business. And she
Right.
said, oh, I said, oh no, thank you. I can't take that. And she just kind of gave me this strange look and she said, well, I'd like to give it to you. I said, oh, but I can't take it. I mean, that looks like it's so expensive. So she took it back. And later on, the same thing happened again, where someone tried to give me something, and I said, oh, I can't take that. Well, a friend of mine tried to give me something after that. And when I was refusing it, she said, you know, every time whenever someone tries to give you something, you should always accept it regardless of whether you think you can use it, whether you want it or whatever, always accept it with a smile. Because she said, when you don't accept it, that person is going to think, well, I'm not good enough to give her anything. She thinks she's better than I am, or my gift to her was not good enough for her. So consequently, that person has negative feelings about you. So she said, always, and ever since then, I don't care if you offer to give me a penny, I take it. I don't turn anything down.
We just don't, the only thing is we don't want to be, you know, there sometimes are boundaries, and I'll just address that, because obviously we don't want to be a co-conspirator to something, right? Like, because sometimes people buy junk food and then they want to offer it to you because they want to feel, they want to include you in their sort of, you know, bad habits. So there are sometimes fine lines, but yeah, absolutely, Carolyn. That's a wonderful. Thank you for sharing.
Susan, what
Yes.
do you do when
Sorry.
you've helped someone and you know that they want to give you something, but you sense that they're doing it out of guilt and obligation, not really because they want to?
So that's going back to, does it feel good to you? Right?
No.
Versus learned behavior that isn't conducive to your energy. So I do trust my intuition. So again, that's the only thing I could advise, that if it doesn't feel good to you, there's a reason why it doesn't feel good. And if you do say no, you know, say no politely, and then analyze the situation after as to maybe why. Because again, growth comes out of all these different experiences that you have.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Deborah.
Yeah. So what you said about not having an attachment to money kind of goes with an expansion I want to do as far as what Pauline said is money is the root of all evil. The actual statement is the love of money is the root of all evil, because if we love money so much that we would do anything to get it, and not always in the best way. So not having that attachment and realizing that money is there for us to use as we need, but not to go after it because that's really what we have to have. And as Carolyn was saying, you know, accepting something when somebody wants to give it to you is more for their benefit than for your own. It's a gift, and we are honoring them by accepting that gift, whether it's a compliment or whether it's an actual item. It's honoring them by accepting what they offer.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Okay. So now we want to talk about, it's not just about saying or thinking you want something. Your body, mind, and spirit has to be whole. It has to be integrated. Okay. And that means your consciousness has to be connected to your unconsciousness and your higher consciousness, also referred to as your super consciousness. Now, your higher consciousness is the connection to the universal mind of God. So again, we want to be in alignment with all three levels. Sometimes we talk about body, mind, and soul, or body, mind, and spirit. That's the connection, the trinity of everything. Now, if you have hidden programs that you might not be aware of, you need to release them. Now, this is a catch-22, and I say that because sometimes when we're a kid, when we're a child, this is part of our programming process, right? And we may not always understand it because it could have just been something that happened at a young age that we don't recall, but it's embedded in our aura as a program. So how do we release that? That's another thing that we have to understand, is that we need to understand that connection to the color and the chakra. Then we can bring in that color, raise our vibration, that anything that's embedded in our aura that, again, is those blockages, can then surface and be released. And I remember, several years ago when the biopulsar technology, or AuraMed, came out with the Horoscope software, and I read the statement in regards to my weakest organ, in regards to the emotions. I read it and I went, well, that doesn't make sense. And then I thought to myself, okay, that's your yellow coming in, because your yellow wants instant gratification. So I read it again and I went, no, that doesn't resonate with me. Okay, you know what? I've invested in this. I'm going to read it again. I read it again and I read it again. And I was lying in bed, I think it was the next day, I picked it up and I read it again. And all of a sudden this memory flashed in my mind, because now I had spent time raising my vibration, because I was doing all this blue tools, blue essences, blue everything, because that was where my energy weakness was. And all of a sudden I had this epiphany to a childhood recollection that related to my ability to communicate. That was so empowering, because all I had to do was raise my vibration. So then these stored blockages had a chance to get released and become part of my consciousness. And this is sometimes what I tell people: you may not remember everything. Sometimes it could just be a feeling where all of a sudden you get this feeling that you've released something. Go with it, because that is that energy release. But because we're like, all these things that have happened in our life are embedded in our aura, when we release one program, that can allow a deeper program to all of a sudden surface and be released. And again, throughout our life, there's probably hundreds, if not thousands, of little programs that have been attached to us because of all these, negative statements that could have been said in our life, or actions against us or something. Because it doesn't always have to be verbal. It could just be a feeling you get from someone else, because I know we're in a very spiritual community here. Sometimes being a spiritualist at a very young age, you're considered an oddball. So people don't always get you. So throughout your life, you may have felt a little out of place because you didn't resonate with the rest of the crowd. Because again, if you're a high violet or a high indigo, naturally you're going to be a little bit more quirky than other people. So again, a lot of spiritualists have this quirkiness that people don't always get. So we may consider ourselves one of the rainbow sheep, where we're we're a little bit different than everyone else. But that being said, we can all feel that in our own right, with our own energy dynamics and how we've been programmed from the time we're born. Plus, some of our programs come before we're born. This is where hereditary factors come into play. Because again, if your forefathers or your foremothers had circumstances in their life and, had lifestyle choices that you inherited, because, for example, my mother, she grew up during the wartime, and there wasn't a lot of foods that contained iron that she was able to eat. So she became anemic. And if your mother was anemic during your gestation period, then there is a strong likelihood that you may be born with a precondition of anemia. That's not to say that you'll become anemic. It's just to say that if you don't get that iron in, that it may you may all of a sudden become anemic faster than the average person, because you don't have a store built up of iron. And lack of iron can end up, resulting in low root energy, because your root chakra will be affected by lack of iron, because it's one of the elements that actually connects to the root chakra. Plus, on top of that, you also have other dynamics that can happen, because when you're low of iron, you can also have body ache. Okay, and women who have low iron when they menstruate will often have blood clotting, and the blood clots are iron that they're chelating from their body, so they're losing a lot of iron on top of being anemic. So, again, we have to look at things that we may have inherited. And remember, I believe everything on a DNA level is changeable. That's my personal belief, because our cells are biophotons, which are light receptors and light transmitters. Meaning, if our cells are sending out the wrong signal, then again, that's what we're attracting. And if we're not clever enough, then eventually that can manifest into, a situation. So there's hidden programs that we have and things that we don't realize, but as soon as we get clues into some of the things that have formed our energy and that have created some of these so-called blockages, then we can remove them. But again, work on a vibratory level, because also if you're wanting to manifest something and you know the connection to color, and we'll talk about some of the things that you guys want to manifest, because this class I want to touch on some things that that are going to help you in your journey to manifest. But by raising our vibration, the blockages is the universe way of teaching us, and we can refer to this as our karma condition. But karma is repeating the same thing over and over again without learning the lesson. That's what karma is, okay? So once you understand what it is that's preventing you from manifesting, then you want to get on that bandwagon to release that part of the your programming and move forward with the positiveness. Okay. So we have to be aware of any programming that no longer serves us and be willing to change it. And since we're the owner of our own home, which, by the way, our physical body houses our spirit, our thoughts, and our emotions. So therefore, we have to integrate it on all levels. And when we work on a vibratory level, we're stimulating all our senses simultaneously. We're stimulating all levels of our consciousness, unconsciousness, and higher consciousness, because on a vibratory level of light, it penetrates. Light knows no boundaries. Light can penetrate mass. And so therefore, light is, the highest level of consciousness. So why is it important to be conscious? Now, if we bring ourselves to the concept of color and the way we look at ourselves, most people are weak in their, in whatever energy center they're low in. And then again, that just sort of attracts those life conditions. And as you study the language of color, you can start to understand, with or without technology, that just sort of gives more credibility and more tangible proof. But when I first got into this world of vibrational healing, and I understood that all vibration is color coded, I understood that my continual thoughts permeated a certain frequency. And because I wasn't attached to my emotions to the same level, I had to bring in the green, I had to bring in the orange to raise my level of emotional connection, because I didn't understand how to connect to it, because I was void in that area. That was not my super strength. Yellow and violet were my super strength. So if you know what chakra you're strong in and what chakra you're weak in, then again, you've got a lot of ammunition as to what might be hindering you from manifestation. And again, when I was doing all these aura readings after The Secret came out, and I can see that people weren't manifesting, all I had to do was look at the colors that they were putting out to the universe, and I knew exactly what they were getting back. So I had, for example, this one woman, she said that she wanted to manifest a partner in life, but her heart chakra was the weakest. Well, if you don't love yourself and you don't love and nurture yourself, then again, what are you attracting? You're attracting people who can't love and nurture you. So again, we have to match the vibration of what it is that we want. Okay. And just so you know, that when you have that color awareness, that color consciousness, then you can change any program. But you have to, you know, and I love what color energy does. We have a color chart that lists all these different attributes and characteristics, or our color energy booklet that also goes into this. There's all these resources that are available that when you read them, start making a T account, meaning, you know, what color is it connected to, or what energy center it's connected to, so you can start understanding, you know, your own vibrations. Sorry, I'm licking my finger to turn my page. Okay, now I wanted to bring another story into this because, again, I believe consciousness is key. When you are not consciously aware of how to get to the end result, then it's pretty hard. But early on in my career as a biopulsar analyst, I was in San Diego and I was doing this health event. And this founder of a cancer clinic came up to my booth and hired me to actually do scans on his cancer patients. And after several scans, I got very concerned because I didn't see any cancer. And at the end, when we got together, I said to him, just so you know that all these people you have sent to me, I'm not seeing any cancer. And he actually had this big smile on his face and he said, it's because I never sent you anybody who had cancer. I sent you cancer survivors. Now, right away, because I had also seen other cancer survivors' aura, all of a sudden, my recollection, being a strong yellow, I do have impeccable memory. So all of a sudden, I got flooded with all this information. And right away, I understood what it is that I had seen. Out of all these cancer survivors, each one of them had a clear, had clarity in their brain frequencies. The aura from their brain was clean, and it was bright, and it was sharp, and it was concise, and it was yellow. And yellow is about the ego. And again, when we talk about the ego, to me, they're like any of our energy centers, we have the positive and negative side. But when your ego believes you can do something, you can do it. So when I think about that cancer survivor, I also put this into play with the manifestation process. You have to be clear in your thoughts and your intention, and that's all about the yellow energy. And again, when we want to manifest, there's different colors we may bring into the manifestation process, but nonetheless, we have to have that clarity of mind. Okay. And so now we're going to go into a little bit more about the manifestation process. So when you know what it is that you want to manifest, you have to attach it to a color, because again, you've got to bring in that color vibration. And I just want to share with you this story that, and I have actually several on this line, but this one stands out in my mind. I had this woman who was going to Las Vegas, and she told me she took a green color bath packet with her. And she did that because she wanted to manifest money in Las Vegas. So before she went out gambling, she put the green color pigment into her bath, and she did her green bath with that attitude of, I'm going to go gambling and win money. And she phoned me up and she said, Susanne, I just want to share with you the story. And she won. She won big. So again, when you put out that right frequency, and we need to sometimes have these tools to raise our vibration because we don't understand all the programming that has lowered our vibration, so we're not attracting what it is that you want. Because even though consciousness is key, the body, mind, and spirit has to be aligned with that consciousness. So it's more than just having that thought that I want this. But I love the fact that she shared that with me. And this is one of the things that I've noticed, that whenever I've immersed myself in a color bath, it's prepared me for whatever it is that I wanted to accomplish that day. And I do have daily goals, and I have longer term goals. So I actually have my own list of things that I work towards, you know. And sometimes green, because it is the color of luck, then of course gambling, green would be a great energy. On the other hand, if you're not very good with your finances to begin with, you may need blue, which is the color of financial security. And blue is also very connected to you know, the banking system, investments, literally the financial industry. But green is an abundant energy where it's very successful in love or luck, things like that. So again, whatever it is that you want to manifest, you want to bring in the right energy. So now that you know that there is a correlation to color and the manifestation process, then you've got to bring it in. And to me, I'm all about abundance in the frequency, meaning I want to stimulate all my senses simultaneously, because some days I don't notice things. So I know my sensory organ of sight isn't tuned into, that part of my manifestation. However, other days I might have a more powerful sense of smell. So our energy is always changing. So when I work on a vibratory level, I'm always looking at the whole experience. And color energy, we have these little bath packets where you can get a color bath, a gemstone, and an oil. And you can shop online or with one of our retail outlets or biopulsar users, practitioners that sell our products. And then get yourself a good product package in color so you can do the manifestation process. But for example, I could even share with you some of the things that I do in my day, where I'll kickstart my day, where I do what I call a power shower. And as the shower water's falling into my bathtub, I plug my drain and I put a little bit of the color bath pigment in there. So I'm standing in a pool of that vibration. So let's just say that I need to do some organizing and planning. So my manifestation for the day is to get organized and plan, and maybe write a proposal or write some things down, because I'm, doing, for example, a presentation like today. And so I need that blue energy to help me plan and organize. So I put that blue pigment into the bath, and I envision that color coming through the soles of my feet and reaching my throat chakra area, which is, the chakra that has a lot to do with your blue energy. And I envision that blue going into, my ability to communicate, my ability to plan, my ability to organize. I envision that blue energy blessing me with its vibration to help empower me to get to where I want to go today in regards to, that planning and organization. And then when I get out of the tub, just so you know, I always spray myself with aura cleanser, because I want to release anything that I've let go into that, experience of working with my energy. And then what I do is I grab my blue tools, and then I'll start working on that vibratory level, and I'll lather on my throat chakra our blue energy blend, or I'll use our blue essence, or and sometimes I'll even hold a stone, or I'll wear jewelry around my neck area that's the blue energy. And I wear a lot of jewelry that's color coded, because today we were talking about the green energy, which we're coming to. I wore my green jewelry. I've got my clothing that has some green on, and again, and thank you, Pauline, I saw you wearing your color energy glasses earlier. So you want to get into the feel of what it is that you want to manifest, so that way what you're doing is you're putting out to the universe, hey, you know what, I'm green today, give me that luck, or give me that love, or whatever it is, whatever energy you're in, that's what you want to start manifesting. Now also, I'll just, on a little sidebar, sometimes we need the help of a karma essence, because sometimes on a karmic level there might be hindrances. So we actually have 5 karma essences that go into different aspects of programming to release things that might be hindering you from getting to your goal. Okay. So whatever it is that you want to manifest, you have to think about what is the color connection, and then you have to put into play how you're going to manifest it. By what tools are you going to use? What affirmations do you want to say? Everything on a vibratory level is what you need to put down, and put down any thoughts that you feel are connected to that. And then what I do with any of my thoughts is I think of the polar opposite. Okay. So for example, if, well, we kind of touched it in regards to the money, but we could take another example, because I also get people that want to lose weight. And any guesses as to what color is related to weight loss? Anybody? Okay. So on a medical level, it's blue, because blue stimulates our thyroid gland, and our thyroid gland is our body's gauge for weight loss and weight gain. And I remember I was doing an event, and one of my naturopathic doctors who uses the biopulsar was assessing this woman, and her thyroid was imbalanced. And the woman said, I have no problems with my thyroid. You know, doctors have checked me out and, you know, I don't have a problem with my thyroid. Well, she left the booth, but she was waiting for her girlfriend who was next in line. And I just meandered over to her and I said, I heard that, you know, you were mentioning that your thyroid isn't imbalanced, but I actually can see that you're underweight. And so that does indicate to me that you are having a bit of a thyroid issue. And then I said, do you have cold hands and cold feet? And she said, all the time, my hands and feet are freezing. And I went, well, that's a thyroid imbalance. And I said, are you able to gain weight? She said, no. And I said, I'm suspecting that your thyroid, you know, because it's imbalanced, that's the issue that you're up against. So whenever it comes to weight management, you always have to work with the blue energy. And just so you know, there's also information in regards to research that they did. And when people had a blue light in their refrigerator, that actually helped them lose weight, because when they went in the fridge to get food, the blue helped them lose their appetite that they wouldn't eat. And I even actually, in retrospect, once I started learning about color, I was living in my condo and the kitchen was green, and I actually gained weight. And when I moved to another condo that had a blue kitchen, I lost weight. And when I started learning about color language, and that blue will actually, when your thyroid's balanced, or it connects to your thyroid, and of course, when your thyroid's balanced, that will help you lose weight. And the funny thing is, because my kitchen was blue, I actually bought blue dishes. And I noticed afterwards, when I learned this, that I didn't put a lot of food on my plate, because I lost my appetite before I would even start eating, because blue doesn't rev up your appetite, where red and orange, this is why a lot of fast food restaurants have red, orange, and yellow in them, because it'll stimulate your appetite and actually make you leave the restaurant quicker. So, and this is all scientifically proven. There's been a lot of research in that. Okay. So again, we have to look at what the color solution is. So then we have a fighting chance of manifesting what it is that we want. Okay. Wow. You know, I'm looking at my notes and I have so many things that I haven't even touched on, and we're at the time where we've actually already gone over. So I want to kind of conclude a little bit, and then we're just going to open this to dialogue, because I want anybody who has something that they want to manifest to, you know, throw it out there, and I can give you some examples of what you can do to help the manifestation process. But because this was also about the green energy, I wanted to just briefly talk about Earth Day, because that's coming up, and that's about green energy as well. And one of the things that color energy does is we have a lot of products that are natural and don't have any impurities. And so I use all of Color Energy's skincare products. We have shampoo, a natural conditioner, body wash. These are part of my daily routines, because I believe that the more things that I do that are conducive to my energy, the less likely I'm going to have these roadblocks. And for example, a lot of shampoos and conditioner have less than 1% of preservative in them. So a lot of manufacturers don't list the preservative on the ingredient list, yet there is preservatives in there that you may not recognize on top of the parabens. Okay. And when you use a shampoo or conditioner on your scalp that has a preservative, it's actually preserving your scalp, which means the toxicities can't be released through your brain. And then if we wonder why dementia and Alzheimer's is on the rise, we have to look at these things. So I just wanted to let you guys know, Color Energy has all these beautiful natural products that if you're a practitioner, I hope you're selling them. If you're not a practitioner and you want to shop online, go to colorenergyshop.com and please get the products that are conducive to your energy, because I want to uplift you. I want you to manifest your heart's desire. And the whole point of this seminar is to give you all kinds of ideas so you can do whatever it is that you want in life, because this is your life and I want you to succeed. I'm your cheerleader. I'm going, go, 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 right? I want you to succeed. And for those of you that know me, you know you can call me and I'll always assist you in whatever way that I can. And for those of you who, you know, this is your first experience with one of my videos, stay tuned, keep watching more, and you know, listen to other people as to what they say that are going to be sharing shortly. Okay. So also as a gift, because this was a non-registered class, a gift for joining the class, I actually wrote an article. As you guys know, I love my support materials and I love to share stuff. I wrote an article called Go Green and Increase Your Luck. Okay, so if you want that article, either chat me right now, your email address, and that way I know who's joined us today and I can send that to you. But otherwise, I want to just say thanks for joining. But before you go, I want to open it up. And if you want to share anything with me or ask me what color might be connected to what it is that you want to manifest, I'll put my color thinking hat on and I'll do my best to answer you.
Susan,
Yes.
I just want to share that actually my grandson and I, we've been wearing the glasses between us. And today he's had really racing thoughts through his head. And just in that short time he was wearing the green, it calmed his mind down. And for me, it made me feel more peaceful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, that's part of the manifestation. If you're looking to be more peaceful or calm your mind, if you know what colors are connected to it, then it's as simple as that. Just, you know, bringing in the frequency and it will create that. And, you know, again, you know, read Color Energies publications and you'll learn so much from our materials. You know, I've had people share with me that they had hyperactive children and they had them wear the blue glasses and it instantly calmed them down and reduced their hyperactivity literally within seconds. Because again, we are visual people and 90% of what we see or perceive is through our eyes. And so the color therapy eyewear is a wonderful way to shift your energy quickly. So thanks for sharing that, Pauline.
Suzanne?
Yes, Adam.
Hi. So you talked about mentioning what we were interested in manifesting, and Stacy and I we're really just interested in manifesting new customers, new clients, and working on, you know, making our new practice thrive. What can you tell us there?
Start with the blue, because you've got to start putting your thoughts into action. And as soon as you start writing down ideas, then you're starting that manifestation process. That's why writing down is very important. Also, role playing is really important when you're starting a new business, because you want to make sure that how you're describing your business is very articulate. And you might have to rely on, you know, the team. And I can help you there a little bit as well, Adam, because I did create a schematic, a template on how I introduce myself to people. And I tell everyone, if I've created the template and it's something that you can benefit from, you know, in this case, in a business manner, then I'm happy to share that with you. But what I learned is often the way we describe ourselves to other is not the way people interpret the information. Okay. So you have to refine, and you have to test what it is that you want to do on other people. Because if you give somebody written material and it has to be short, right? If you give somebody written material, ask them how they perceive what your business is about. And if it's something that would excite them to actually want to do business with you, like book a session. One of the problems with growing a business is client retention. So you have to always have things that excite people. And this is why I love the biopulsar, because every time my clients come to see me, they're wanting to see exactly where their energy is in comparison to before, because we're the only system out there that is very linear based, and it gives you things in a percentage format, also in that color frequency. So I can show people, okay, look at, this is how you've progressed with what you're doing, but we need to make sure you keep on your path, because otherwise you're not going to manifest, right? And this is what we talked about today. So what you've got to do is you've got to, you know, do these things that will encourage people to come back to your business. And especially because you're in the startup stages, it literally is just getting known out there. Now, did I send you my biopulsar marketing booklet?
I believe I do have that in there. Yeah. I mean, there were more than a handful of things in the emails. So off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you everything that was in there.
Go through that and highlight things, because there's so many ideas on how you can grow a business. And prior to my starting with Color Energy, I actually incubated small businesses. And so I was quite the business entrepreneur to help other businesses grow. And I saw a lot of things that businesses did wrong. And again, there's no bad or good, but it's learning from it. And, you know, here's an example. I phoned a business once and the guy answered very sharply on the phone. And, you know, I was asking him, like, how are things going? You know, do you need a top up on your products? And he said, the products aren't moving. And I blurted out, well, with that attitude, I wouldn't shop in your store either. Truth be told, you know, yes, I am a very direct person, and sometimes my mouth is, you know, quite open. And the phone went silent. And then all of a sudden he said, you know what, you're absolutely right. I haven't been the most positive frame of mind, and I'm probably not attracting people to me because of that. So when you're starting your business, you have to be so excited, and you have to generate that excitement that everybody wants to do business with you. And, you know, I even found when I would hire employees, it was a bad thing because I was so excited about being part of Color Energy that they wanted to be part of Color Energy, but they weren't naturally enthusiastic, but my enthusiasm rubbed off on them. So we've always got to be lifting people up to encourage them to come to us, which means we have to lead the way by being as positive and shine that brightest light that we can.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. A lot of planning, but start writing things down, you know, and go through that booklet and start highlighting things. There's a lot of real, you know, nuggets in there for you.
Okay. Do that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The other thing too, Susan, that's very, very empowering is that when you're taking on a new venture of anything is if you put I am in front of it and just say, I am Color Energy, you're emanating that energy.
That's right. And it's no different than saying, hi, my name is Susanne Murphy. It resonates a frequency. And, you know, to me, I tell everyone, you have to move forward with confidence because otherwise people aren't going to feel that vibe. And I remember one of the marketing seminars I went to, the speaker was awesome, but at the end, he became off very wishy-washy. Oh, geez, you know what? If you want to learn more, I have this book that maybe you'll learn something from. Well, why would you buy a book that you may learn something from, right? And this is why, like, to me, you've got to have these tools, you know, because you've got to be successful, which means you've got to raise your vibration to that level that you have no option but to be successful. You've got to emanate it, body, mind, and spirit, because if you're not emanating it, you're not going to attract it. That's the bottom line. Yes, Deborah's holding up the booklet called Developing a Successful Holistic Practice. And for those of you who have the biopulsar, that's free to you. And I've invited some people here today that are newbies that are going to be new biopulsar practitioners. So that will be available to you, or just request your copy and I'm happy to share. I also have a version of that for people who are in business retailing Color Energy products. So I've adopted it for the Color Energy side of things as well. Okay. Thanks for sharing, Deborah. Okay. Anybody else? Robert.
Yes, I recently got contacted by someone who was referred by you to come and get a scan from me, which I appreciate so much. And it's going to be my really first client to actually pay for a session. So I'm excited about that. And I realized that, you know, when these opportunities come up that, like you say, you shouldn't say no, because that's part of the give and flow of life, you know, giving and receiving. So I just wanted to see what color should I use to actually make this session a successful one where the client would want to return.
You know, I'm going to say blue again, because blue is about trust, loyalty, building up a strong, you know, relationship on that level of trust and loyalty, and people will feel safe with that energy, because then, you know, you're going to be sincere, they're going to feel that sincerity, so it'll just emanate.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Wow. I can't believe we're already at 20 after 4, but there was lots of nuggets, I think, in this seminar that you got out of this. You know, I just want to say you are all awesome. You're all just beautiful human beings that deserve the best in life. And I want you to go forth and manifest your heart's desire. And, you know, there's another little tidbit I'll just share with you. It takes 68 seconds to begin the manifestation process. Most people hold a thought for 3 seconds. So if you're wondering why you don't manifest, it's because you're not putting enough of your consciousness towards that. You know, recite affirmations. You know, like I said, bring up your vibe of color to get to where you want to go. So you will be super successful in whatever you want. And remember, don't give up. Keep going at it, because success is always that one step further. And if you give up, then you're not going to acquire it. And that's when you use your red energy to push through and like I said, manifest what it is that you want. But like I said, you're all awesome and you're all brilliant and you're all just superhuman beings. So go out there and shine your light and manifest your heart's desire. Thanks, everyone.